Hey everyone, welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody. Glad you guys are back for another video. Week 19 is upon us, the final week of the regular season. We have 2 games on Friday to talk about. We have 4 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. But with all of the playoffs clinched, it's mainly up to seeding. I got a couple of games to talk about here when it comes to that. So let's go. Alright, so both of these games are starting at the same time, 6:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff. We're just picking and choosing, so let's start off with this one. Again, 6:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network or Victory Plus app or whatever, because, enjoy this because you'll have to pay another $10 for the playoffs. Grand. That's a rant for another day, but I'm not going to get into it. We have the 12-3 Bay Area Panthers taking on the 7-8 Massachusetts Pirates. Bay Area has clinched the number 1 seed in the West. Massachusetts has clinched the 9 o'clock a.m. tee time for whatever golf course is in Massachusetts. So there you have it. Season leaders for both sides: Josh Jones, 183 of 301, 2,018 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Kenji Bahar, 203 of 323, 2,048 yards, 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Pretty even numbers for both of those guys. Rushing leaders: Josh Jones, 177 yards on 177 carries on 759 yards, 21 touchdowns. Puka Williams, 196 carries, 759 yards, the same amount of yards, only 10 rushing touchdowns. Josh Tomas, 49 receptions, 581 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And T.O. Redding, 47 receptions, 627 yards, and 14 receiving touchdowns. My mind is all over the place. Taking a look at the injury report, 2 guys to add for Bay Area as they just have a full second team of injured players. William Martin and Curtis Ravenel are put on short-term and season injured reserve, and it's kind of like if you look up in the middle, Javian Bellamy, he has not played a game for Bay Area, neither has Curtis Ravenel, but they're both added, they're both on the injured list. If Bay Area gets a ring, how many of these guys get a ring, man? That's a lot of players. Anyway, for Massachusetts, only 1 player to add. Chris Murray from the offensive line has been added to short-term injured reserve. Taking a look at our game odds, we were using Bet365 because they came out and I did all of this stuff before DraftKings did, so Bet365 for these two. We have an over-under of 78.5 and then plus 3.5, so it's actually a smaller line. We'll see if Bay Area, we'll talk about this in 25-man roster, but we'll see what Bay Area does when it comes to their roster manipulation. So plus 3.5 for Massachusetts, minus 3.5 for Bay Area, minus 170 for the Panthers if you want the away favorite, or plus 145 if you want the home underdog. We are at the Tsongas Center for the final time this season in Lowell, Massachusetts, and our series head-to-head, surprisingly, is Massachusetts up 2-0. Now, these guys have not met since 2023. Massachusetts won that game 59-52, so it has been a couple of years since Massachusetts has played Bay Area. Oh, how the times have been changing, or whatever, Bob Dylan or whoever sang that. I don't really listen to that old of music. I do, but I don't. But I don't listen to Bob Dylan, I guess I should say. But anyway, let's go take a look at our 25-man rosters, a bet and prediction. We got one more preview to go after this. All right, 25-man rosters popping up over my face here, starting with the away side first. Josh Jones and Liam Thompson are your quarterbacks. With the number 1 seed completely locked up, does Liam Thompson start this game? That's probably the biggest question I have when it comes to the 25-man roster. You can't really do too much else when it comes to like sitting players. So curious to see if Liam Thompson gets the start, gets the full start, things along those lines. Wide receivers: Josh Tomas, Tosin Oyekanmi, Tyrese Chambers, B.K. Smith Jr., Trayvon Alexander, and Trey Goodman. Offensive line: Christian Coulter, Sidney Walker, Jamie Navarro, and Ethan Hagler. Defense is Tavon Grant, Jonathan Ross, Morris Joseph, and EJ Nye. Linebackers include BJ Tafalele and Wes Bowers. And in the secondary, Trey Meadows, Joe Fouché, Frankie West Jr., Landry Mavungu, and Tyrese Wright, with new signee Marcus Smith. He has been in the Indoor Football League before. He has been a veteran of the indoor and arena game, so should be no different. At least that's the Marcus Smith that I found. Former Albany Firebird, former Spokane Shock, so he's been around for a while. Jacksonville Shark, what have you. Kicker, Axel Perez for Bay Area, and then over to Massachusetts, Talia Tagovailoa and Kenji Bahar. Kind of the same thing, nothing left to play for. Does Tagovailoa get the full-blown start, or do they finish the season with Kenji Bahar starting all of the games this year? Well, Did he start all the games? I think he did start all the games this year. Anyway, running backs Puka Williams and new signee LaDamian Webb. Wide receiver Stephen McBride, T.O. Redding, Dante Demas, and Thomas Owens. Offensive line for Massachusetts, Jordan McCray, Brandon Kemp, Navon Donaldson, and Dante Lucas. On the defensive side of the ball, Dominic Quillen, Jacques Bristol, Tyson Ritter, that's the guy from All-American Rejects, Tyson Render, Mike Mason, DJ Dale. Linebacker, Latavius Brini. I have him as defensive back, linebacker hybrid, but linebacker. And then in the secondary, DJ Daniel, Teldrick Ross, Dexter Lawson Jr., Destin Mack, Smoke Monday, Ty Smith, with your kicker being Josh Gable. There's your 25-man roster for the Bay Area Panthers, 25-man roster for your Massachusetts Pirates. And with that, let's go take a look at our bet and prediction. We'll get, we won't get out of here. We have a second preview. Then we'll do that one, and then we'll get out of here. All right, bet and prediction for this one. I'm going to go over 78.5. I'm a little skittish when it comes to the spread because I don't know who's starting at quarterback for either side. It could be a game where both backups start with nothing left to play for on either side. You don't want Josh Jones getting hurt going into the playoffs. Maybe it's just some reps for Talia Tagovailoa. I'm not sure. Maybe they start Kenji Bahar. Maybe they do start Josh Jones. I'm going to go over just because you have to score points, and I'm hoping that they do score points. And like I said, when it comes to sitting players for Bay Area or even Massachusetts, you can't sit too many. You have a 25-man roster. You have to suit up 21. And then obviously 8 play on both sides with a kicker, so that's already 17 players. You need 4 as a reserve, and then 4 on the practice squad. So it can't really sit too many guys. So most of the time your starters will be going, but we'll see who kind of comes in as backups and who sits, who gets the full-blown rest and what have you. So I'm just kind of going to go over here. Maybe there's some guys that haven't played all season or have only played minimally for both sides that really want to get into the game, prove themselves, score some touchdowns, things along those lines. I'm going over on this one. I do think Bay Area can take this one. But maybe they're just kind of coasting in this for Massachusetts to take the victory. Massachusetts has nothing left to play for, so we'll see if they're going to go their full 100%. These are just kind of some tough games to think about. But over 78.5, you're asking both teams to score, 39 points? I think that's doable. I do. Yeah, that's just kind of where we have it. My prediction for this one, I'll just get right into the prediction for this one. I got 48-39. I think Bay Area can kind of run away with it a little bit. It could be close for maybe the first 3 quarters, and then Bay Area's defense just kind of shuts it down, or maybe Massachusetts. I'm not saying they're going to quit, and I'm not saying Bay Area is going to quit or anything like that. They're both going to play hard. You're playing for your next contract. You're playing for game film. You're doing all of that stuff. I don't think either team's going to quit. I think it's just going to be enough where Bay Area just forces some mistakes, turnover on downs, things along those lines where the game might get out of reach, and then maybe there's a garbage touchdown for Massachusetts to make the score look the way it is. That's just kind of how I see it. It could be closer. The under could hit. The under could hit if both backup quarterbacks just aren't accurate. They're just running the ball, killing the clock, doing stuff like that. I could see the under easily hitting, but for the sake of the game, let's go over on this. Let's just go over and get some points. A nice little back and forth affair. You just don't want a boring game. And I think for some of these games this week, you could see that with all of the playoff spots kind of already taken up. So that's where I have it. 48-39 for Bay Area. Over 78.5 for our bet. Let's hope for a good game. A nice little back and forth. We move on. Let's go check out our second and final preview for Friday, and we'll get out of here. All right, second and final preview for Friday. This one has really no bearing. This is just a pride game for both of these. Let's do a 6:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network, or if they're streaming it for free somewhere else. We have the 1-14 Iowa Barnstormers taking on the 6-9 Fishers Freight. Both these teams are eliminated from playoff contention. One team trying not to go 1-15, maybe get their second win over their opponent, and then Fishers trying to finish 7-9 and actually have a very, very good expansion season. You got to remember, this is their first season in the Indoor Football League, and to finish 7-9, almost 500, with a couple of games, honestly, getting away from them. They had an opportunity at the playoffs, but hey, a 9-game losing streak will do that to you. Taking a look at our season leaders, James Cahoon, 237 to 427, 2,580 yards, 51 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Felix Harper, 26 of 44, 249 yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. Cahoon's your leading rusher, 33 carries, 106 yards, just the 1 touchdown. And Dominic Roberto, 52 carries, 213 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Receiving leaders, Kean Williams, 87 receptions, 1,136 yards, and 24 touchdowns. And JT Stokes, 39 catches, 435 yards, and 6 receiving touchdowns. Taking a look at our injury report for both sides, Ja'Cory Johns has been added to the season injured reserve list, so slowly, Iowa has accumulated a little bit of an injury list throughout the season. They didn't really have one for most of the season. Fishers, they have added Jatarius Spivey, and I forgot to put all those positions where they should be, but hey, not all of those guys are defensive linemen. Jatarius Spivey is an offensive lineman, and you can kind of see where everything goes. Now, I did see a little clip, maybe Julian Walker right there. Heard he's retiring, so he might not even be on that injured reserve list at all, so we'll see how that goes. Game odds, we have an over-under of 91.5. Again, this is on Bet365 because DraftKings didn't update their stuff by the time I had already typed all this stuff out. We have an over-under of 91.5, and Fishers is favored by over a touchdown, minus 7.5. Plus 270 if you want the road upset, minus 340 if you want the home favorite. We are in the Fishers Event Center in Fishers, Indiana. Again, 6:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff, and our series head-to-head, 1-1. Both teams have won a game this season. This is the best of 3 this year. We'll see who takes this one and breaks that tie, but Week 17, just 2 weeks ago, Fishers won 58-50. Iowa taking the first meeting between the two for their only win of the season. So if Iowa does get this one, their 2 wins on the year will come against Fishers. So with that, let's go take a look at our 25-man roster, our bet and prediction. We'll get out of here. All right, 25-man rosters popping up over my face. Taking a look at the away side first. 3 quarterbacks. We'll see who suits up as the backup. James Cahoon's going to be your starter, but we'll see if it's Rohach or Van Boxel for the backup. It'll probably be Rohach, but we'll see. No running back to speak of, but wide receivers Kean Williams, Jalen Bracey, Caleb Hood, DeMonte Martin, Raheem Harvey, and Mo Strong. Offensive linemen include Devin Hayes, Tyler Castaneda, Jordan Taylor, and Paul Fay. Defensive linemen for Iowa, Patrick Godbolt, Joshua Ellison, Tyler Tate, and Jared Johnson. Linebackers include Kadri Jackson and Jalen Johnson. And in the secondary, Ja'Cory Benjamin, Angelo Gross, Caleb Street, Jared Sod, and Cam Mitchell-Johnson, with their kicker being Gabriel Rui. Over to the Fishers side of things, Felix Harper is the only quarterback on the roster, so they will be finishing strong with him. Dominic Roberto and Josiah King for the running backs. And in the wide receivers, JT Stokes, Isaiah Coulter, Isaiah Cox, Journey Sloan, and Jaron McGaw has been re-signed. Offensive line, AJ Forbes, LaQuinston Sharp, Daryl Simmons, Jeremy Cooper, and Darius Long. On the defensive side, Christopher Oakley, Jalen Swan, and Akeem Smith. Linebackers Cam Hunt and Tamar Hart, and again, as I've said in multiple previews, Darius Long will probably switch over to the defensive line, see how that goes. Secondary for Fishers, Sean Steele, Aaron Jackson, Jaden Rowe, Marcus Gray, Justin Terry, and Justice King, with your kicker being Callum Sutherland, and that is your 25-man roster for Iowa. 25-man roster for Fishers. It's pretty straightforward with that. Let's go take a look at our bet and our prediction, and we'll get out of here. All right, bet and prediction time for this one. Why not? Plus 7.5 for Iowa. I'm not saying that they win the game, but, and we'll talk about that in the prediction, but plus 7.5, they have an opportunity to kind of keep things close here. Again, neither team necessarily playing for too much. We know Iowa is an air raid style offense. They don't really run the ball. We know Fishers is more ground and pound, but they are capable of throwing the ball when obviously necessary. Now, if Fishers does what they need to do and take time off the clock, run the ball like they did last week, kind of through the first few weeks of the season, and kind of just, as I call it, like boa constrictor that, and just really just squeeze that time off that clock. We know Iowa can score in a pinch. We kind of know that. It might take them a second, but it's kind of the same thing that happened to San Diego. That's where I think Iowa can maybe take advantage a little bit. If they can get the ball down the field, if they can utilize Kean Williams, if they can utilize Caleb Hood, if they can even utilize DeMonte Martin. He actually showed up a little bit last week. It was a pretty good game for him. Even Raheem Harvey. Like, the wide receivers have shown up, so the defense has let them down quite a bit this year. And that's a knock on the defense, yes, but at the same time, like, you have an opportunity here for a team that really just not exclusively runs the ball, but runs the ball probably 60 to 40%, maybe 70-30, to really shut that down and kind of see how that goes. Now, they're not afraid to pop a pass over the top. Yeah, Fishers is capable of doing that. It's a Dixie Wooten offense. But I feel more comfortable with a plus 7.5. Again, running the ball can lead me towards under 91.5, or this could just be a straight up slugfest where it's just points, and you're over 91.5. So a little skittish on that. I don't think Iowa wins this one. My prediction for this, 45-42. I think it is close. Again, Iowa trying to get into that win column one final time this year. I just don't see it happening. I think Fishers has the tools. They have the team. They have the players and the coaches that are just a little bit better when it comes to that versus Iowa. I think Fishers takes the victory. They end their season on a high note, on a nice little winning streak, taking them into 2026. And you start year 2 with a good taste in your mouth. That doesn't sound right, but some teams are like, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So a good taste in the mouth sounds gross. Anyway, you got plus 7.5 for Iowa. You got a 45-42 victory in favor of Fishers. I think Fishers is just gonna, like I said, they're gonna run the ball a little bit, waste some clock. Iowa can score. Again, Iowa's kind of a master of garbage time touchdowns, so maybe that's what gets them close and has a backdoor cover. But that's where I see it with this. Plus 7.5, 45-42. Fishers takes it. With that, let's go wrap up and get out of here. And that is it for our Week 19 Friday preview. I don't want to say they're bad games on schedule, but with only one playoff team playing here, I mean, you're going to watch the games, I'm going to watch the games, and see which teams can finish strong, see which players can finish strong and strengthen their opportunities for first and second team, all-rookie team. If there's any individual accolades, I don't think there are in this one except for Bay Area. If there's any other individual accolades, offense and defensive player of the year, things along those lines, that's probably what we're watching for compared to who's going to win the game. So that's just kind of how the final week of the season goes with all the playoff spots wrapped up. The number 1 seed for Bay Area is wrapped up, so there's nothing that is pertaining to any of these games that are just like, man, number 3 seed on the line here. So still watch them, still have fun, still enjoy it. Hope for a lot of fun games or fun, plays, points, all of that stuff. So just looking for some entertainment when it comes to that. But with that, I'm going to take off here, guys. I love and appreciate every single one of you. It is a busy, busy day for me. I will be on the road on my way to Davenport, Iowa to go see my family. And I will go see the Quad City Steamwheelers take on the Tulsa Oilers tomorrow night. If you're in that area, come say hi. I want to go see some guys that I've talked to on Facebook and on YouTube and things along those lines. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. So let's just go on with it. But with that, I'm going to take off for you guys. Love and appreciate every single one of you. If you want to like, comment, share, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'll see you. I still have another recap to do from week 18. I'll get that out when I get up to the hotel room. But until then, I'm taking off for you guys. Love you. See ya.